Hey, what is going on, everyone? In today's video, I want to talk about villains. Where are all my villains at, yo? For real, it's like been ages since we've had any villain character releases, and I want to know what's going on. So we're going to take a look back down memory lane and check out how many villains we had in 2020, because it's a big fat 0 so far in 2021. I also want to go over some of the possible characters that I have listed out that could come as villains this year or later on, but we need some ASAP. So I have them listed out with possible tags and teams that could happen, and I want to go through these together with you all. And let me know what you think about future villain characters, if any of these look plausible, and who you'd love to see come to the game. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Alright, so I'm sure you guys have all seen my beautiful character spreadsheet. I reference this quite frequently, a couple times a week almost, because a lot of the data in here is really important. Now, I started collecting this at the start, roughly the start of 2020, just before I started doing content creation, which was in May, and I wanted to know basically all of the, you've seen this probably, this is the release date of the character, their when they became available in Orbs, Elite Stores, and have farmability on the side here in the green further on, and how they were, and so on and so on. So I keep track of this for every character. At least since then, there's some characters I failed to keep track of, Minerva, Captain Marvel, you know, all these characters here when I started doing it, but that's not the point. So starting in 2020, when we had villains, let's go over how many villains we actually did get released in 2020, and then compare it to now, which is a big fat 0. So we had Blob. We had the Toad and Blob event. This was towards the end of February, early March, for Toad and Blob, part of Brotherhood 2.0 release, so that was kind of interesting. And then we actually had quite a few. So Red Skull, Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive. So this is the Black Order patch. Proxima, Corvus, Cull, Taskmaster, Ebony Maw. These were all, you know, these are quite a few villains in a row, and it was quite surprising. Then we had a gap with actually Ironheart was, yeah, she was Power Armor, but this was a standalone release. And then we went into the X-Force team. Domino, Negasonic, and X-23. Then we had Squirrel Girl. This is in the summer. Squirrel Girl, Beast, and Emma Frost. So that was your next villains release after Ebony Maw. So this was like I forget what the first date is. I didn't have the first date on the Ebony Maw event, but it was probably in May, somewhere in there. So we took a couple of months gap before another villains character, and then we had the Sinister Six alongside Doc Ock patch. This was at the end of the summer with Swarm, Baron Zemo as well, which isn't Sinister Six, but a very great standalone villain with the Hydra rework, sort of with Crossbones and Bucky. Electro, Doc Ock, those are all villains, so a full villains patch. And then we had Scream, who was also a villains, part of the Symbiotes though. And then after that, Yellow Jacket and Doctor Doom. So Yellow Jacket and Doctor Doom were the last villains characters to be released, and this was roughly, I mean, Doctor Doom was, you know, in that patch, so I guess it would have been like November the 4th, probably alongside when he hit the roster page. And then Yellow Jacket was released towards the end of November. So it's been that's month 11. So we've been about 9 months. I had to check my calendar. It's been about 9 months roughly since we've had a villains character, and we know that patch 5.6 is still not going to have any, because we have the Hero Mystic characters. We have Deathpool, Cloak and Dagger, and Shang-Chi. So going forward, at the very minimum, we're not going to see any villains until September. You know, if we get them then. I hope we do, and we'll talk about some of that. And that would make close to 10 months before. So how many did we get in 2020? We had Yellow Jacket and Doom, so that's 2. Scream 3, Emma Frost 4, and then all of these, that was 7. Doc Ock and all them. Ebony Maw 8, Taskmaster 9, Cull, Corvus, Proxima, Red Skull, that's 13. Blob and Toad. So that's about 15 villain characters, which is this is a big chunk more than what we got now, which is nothing. So why the huge difference? I don't know. Crazy. So let's move on down towards what we have had for this year and what I hope might happen coming down the way. So we know we've just had so many hero characters. You know, obviously there are more heroes, and I guess the problem with villain characters is that they don't tend to work in teams, right? You know, with the exception of Sinister Six, maybe, you know, Brotherhood, some mutant teams, you know, there's not a lot of villains that work together. And so that causes a bit of a problem with character releases in terms of team synergy and things like that. So if you notice that when we did have the villains released, they were combining villains and heroes together, because just frankly there wasn't a team that could be made with just the standalone. You know, Yellow Jacket was part of this this Pimtech team, but as a villain, you know, and the rest of the and Ghost, I guess, as well. Sorry, I forgot Ghost. Ghost is actually a villain character as well, so add +1 to what I said. But you know, they were combined with other heroes. So I think going forward, that's what we're likely going to see, because there's just not enough, with the exception of Sinister Six, and probably adding more chargeable Sinister Six members. I don't see them doing a full team of villains. There's a couple of exceptions here, and I'm gonna make mention of that down below as well. Scream, again, part of that symbiote team, but a combination with Venom and Carnage, and then Anti-Venom and Symbiote Spider-Man. And Emma Frost, sort of a villains team there, I guess, with the Marauders, but she didn't have the tag. And Black Order, okay, so, you know, it's a mix, but I don't think there's a lot anymore. And we're going to talk about some of the main villains that we don't have yet in the game, I think, that really don't fit a full team of villains. And we're going to see more of this mixed hybrid team as we go forward. And we're starting to see this, especially with the Doom Raid patches, so that we're getting sort of a couple of new characters alongside some old characters. I'm not here to talk about every single mixture of teams, but I do have a list of characters that I thought may be more likely to come to the game than others, and we're going to look at them one by one. So I'm hoping not to spoil too many. So the first one I have at the bottom... Oh, you can't see, my chair's in the way. Okay, we'll scroll down a little bit here. So, first of all, we have... Actually, we're going to talk about patch 5.7. This is going to be the patch after the Deathpool Mystic patch. I thought it was going to be, or I think it may be, a bio patch. Now, we're either going to get one of two things. We're either, and I talked about this in a previous video, we're either going to get Null as the legendary symbiote, the King in Black, and alongside another symbiote, or we're going to get a brand new, I spoiled that a little bit. A brand new bio team. We're going to talk about some of those characters below. You might be able to see it at the bottom of the screen, but we're going to get to that as well. So I think it's one of two things for bio. Either we're going to get a rework and new symbiotes, or we're going to get a brand new set of characters. So one or the other is going to happen. And we're going to talk about the first on the list, MODOK. AIM. So he would definitely have the AIM tag, and he would definitely be tech. Now, there's been... How possible MODOK's release might be, I'm not too sure, but of course, this might come alongside a possible Scientist Supreme rework, or some way to work in the two of them, because they are both tech as well. And so in terms of Doom Raid viability, this might be possible. Fingers crossed, because I do have a tier 14 Scientist Supreme sitting around. Going next, though, I say Mojo and Spiral from Mojoverse. Now, I don't know if they're more likely to be tech or bio. I'm not super, like I know them, but I don't know what their origins would be in this game necessarily. So I think we will get Mojo at some point. This seems pretty likely, because we already have him sort of as a figurehead mascot for Real-Time Arena. Spiral is very commonly alongside Mojo, so I think this could also be possible. I'm just not exactly sure what their tags would be. So I think Mojo for sure is very likely. Spiral less likely, but I think it would be a good companion character to Mojo. Moving on down below, we do have what I call the Gamma team. So this was my other suggestion for what could happen. And actually, you know what, to be honest, I'm missing a character, and we're going to be talking about this more in detail in a separate video. But can I... It doesn't give me the green tag. Anyways, I think that I wanted to give the green background here. So, Maestro. Possibly as part of the leader of the Bio Gamma team. If anyone is unfamiliar with the character Maestro, he's basically an alternate universe Hulk who killed the Avengers. He's like smart Hulk, but also crazy, I'm pretty sure. Let me know in the comments down below if I butchered that. Red Hulk is General Thaddeus Ross, part of the Thunderbolts, but I could also see this being part of a Gamma team. Abomination, we kind of know that as a Hulk villain, and I believe he's going to be featured in the She-Hulk TV series. Titania as well, also kind of part of this Gamma sort of thing, also a villain of She-Hulk. We know that the She-Hulk TV show is coming in the distant future, so this is possible here. There's quite a few options that I have listed, because I don't think they're all going to come, but I think that, you know, we're going to at least see 2 or 3 new characters. How many of these, I'm not sure. But in terms of if you're making a brand new, whether it's a Gamma team or a Bio Raid team, none of these really strike me as support type characters for that. So I don't know if they would use existing characters to do what they need to do. Or I have down below the leader. So you guys might remember the leader. He's like the guy with the big head and the green, like basically the green brain head. He's a former, or he is a Hulk villain. I kind of remember him from the cartoons of the Hulk, but I think he could be a support character and could be that character for the team. How likely this is, because he's not been mentioned in any recent media in terms of MCU or TV shows or anything like that, I'm not sure, but this was just some ideas regarding a bio team or a mixed team. Pick 2 or 3 of these and throw them on with maybe Hulk and She-Hulk. This is going to be a topic of a future video that I plan on doing, because there has been heavy hints about Maestro. I just don't know if they would necessarily do this alongside some of these other characters. Red Hulk, again, they could just make a Gamma team, or they could do a Thunderbolts team with General Ross, so I'm not sure. Moving on, we do have some Madam Hydra and Baron Strucker from Hydra. Hey, yeah, okay, I said Hydra a couple times there. I don't know exactly what traits they would be, though, because Madam Hydra, aka Viper or whatever, I believe that she might be a bio character, because I think she does actually have something about her. Baron Strucker, though, I think he'd probably be skill, but again, I recall seeing a photo of him with a fist or something, that he's got some sort of... He did get powers later? I don't know. Please let me know about Hydra lore down below, what you guys think maybe they would be if they came to the game. Not super familiar with them, which is why I didn't put them in the green text, because the green background, because I don't know how likely this is, and I'm not sure how to label them, but they're kind of well-known characters, I would say. Hydra could use a couple more as well to kind of round out... a new sort of alongside Baron Zemo, I think, unless they do something else, like the Thunderbolts, because Baron Zemo is also part of the Thunderbolts team. Chargeable Sinister Sixes, so they need definitely some more love here, and these are kind of the characters I would like to see to come to the game. Hobgoblin, Sinister Six chargeable with as a tech character, probably Kraven, possibly skill, and Sandman, possibly a war defense character for bio. Now, yeah, I hate war teams, however, I make a small exception to Sinister Six. I could see Sandman doing something like Safeguard, but on war defense only, and then we could have other options for offense. And Hobgoblin, might have some synergy, like a blaster, because tech kind of needs some damage. So maybe for Doomray tech, sorry, and maybe combining Hobgoblin with Doc Ock, specifically in the Doomray tech lane, might be enough to have like a duo partnership here. We know a lot of the new characters have crazy ass like passive tech, so it's not outside the realm of possibility for just a standalone Sinister Six character to be really, really powerful in this respect. Moving on a little bit now, we got a little bit more bio characters, but Maximus the Mad from the Inhumans royal family. You guys might recognize this character a little bit. He was in some of the media as well, that kind of not so great TV show, but I did love the actor who played Maximus in this, and Super Skrull, which is kind of related to Fantastic Four. Not necessarily Fantastic Four synergy, but that's kind of where he stems from. Could be a standalone villain character, but he would be a cosmic bio character most likely, because he just combines all of the powers from the Fantastic Four. Now, moving on towards Mystic again. Even though we're getting a Mystic patch, this would be kind of looking into next year if they wanted to add more. Mephisto, so he's very well the devil basically, and possibly part of the Supernatural team. Morbius, also a popular character who I would probably slate as a villain character, part of the Supernatural team as well for Mystic. Man-Thing, that's another character. Now, I'm not super familiar with his origins, because I think it could be both, could go one of two ways. Bio, Mystic, or both. Could be part of the Supernaturals, could be different. Amora, aka the Enchantress, a villain Mystic as Guardian. So this could kind of fill in a weird gap that's kind of missing right now with Hela and Loki. Possibly moving towards either a trio or, a team of their own that kind of relies on that. Maybe Mordo could be part of that, because there is a lot of villain Mystic synergy, specifically with Loki, I believe, or Mystic Controller, something like this, right? There is some passive synergy there that could be coalesced around these characters. We talked a little bit about the symbiotes and new characters coming, and so I wanted to talk about Shriek again very briefly, who is going to be in the new Venom movie with Carnage, so this could be a possibility. Bio, I don't know, I think that's probably what she would be. Again, I'm not sure what they plan to do. Now, we're going to move on to some mutant characters, which I think there were some pretty big names. Sebastian Shaw of the Hellfire Club. Now, the reason why I mention this is because Emma Frost is getting a new costume. I think it may be coming next patch, part of the Hellfire Gala. This is a recent, very, very recent recent costume addition to the comics. And Sebastian Shaw is the most well-known Hellfire Club member outside of Emma Frost. So I think that they could do this. They could do a villain mutants team. And again, it doesn't have to be a full team, because there's plenty of other characters that have mutant villain synergy. Strife on his passive, I believe, also taunts on any mutant villain. So this is a possibility here. Sebastian Shaw, very powerful character in the game. Mastermind, I think, if I remember from my 90s X-Men cartoon lore, he's the one who tried to control Dark Phoenix, at least in the cartoon. So I think he is another main member of the Hellfire Club. There's a couple others. There's Harry Leland, I believe. I don't remember what his alias is. So I don't know how many characters for the Hellfire Club that they would release, but at the bare minimum, I would like to see at least these two, alongside Emma Frost, who's an existing character, and see what they do with that. It doesn't have to be a full team. It could be a 3 or 4 man team. 3 or 4 mutant team. Omega Red. Very, very, one of my favorite characters. I actually really like Omega Red. I think the stuff is already there for him. I kind of have a feeling they've kind of reused Doc Ock's tentacle arms to give animations for Omega Red. However, he is a mutant, and he is a Marauder. He was previously a Marauder, so if Emma Frost gets shifted out of the Marauders team, Omega Red could slide in. In what capacity, I don't know, but I would really love to see Omega Red as a mutant villain come to the game. And we can't talk about mutants without talking about Apocalypse. I think this could be the next arena killer. Now, this would be probably, it wouldn't be, I don't think it's going to be this fall when we get the new legendary there. I think it's going to be, could be somewhere like next year in February. I think this is very likely because at that point we'll need an arena killer. I don't think it'll be as long as next May, which is how long it took for Black Order. Black Order was around for about a year. I don't think Infinity Watch is going to last that long. So Apocalypse and the 4 Horsemen. Now insert 4 mutant horsemen here, but I think we have to have at least Archangel. I think he's the #1 most popular horseman to ever come to the Apocalypse Circle. Beyond that, I'm not really sure. Choose your picks. Don't really care here. I would really love to see Apocalypse. Now, he could be a standalone character, but I just think that it would be a missed opportunity if Apocalypse did not come with the 4 Horsemen. There are some other well-known mutant villain characters. Legion, that is Charles's son, David something, I forget his name, but yeah, he's got like this weird upper haircut do, and he's got a lot of psychic powers as well. Now, Onslaught, he is a cross between Magneto and Xavier. It was like, I don't know, they're psychic entities. He's basically a psychic entity. So whether or not he'd be mutant or not, because he's not... I don't think he's not, I don't know how to explain Onslaught. You'd have to Google that one a little bit. But yeah, he's in the comics right now that I'm reading with Nightcrawler. So yeah, I would love to see him come to the game. This could be another crazy standalone villain as well. That's possible. And then I have this category for future Dark Dimension or big baddies. Now, Kang the Conqueror. I think we're going to see him within the next year, whether we like it or not, because there is some relation here to some of the TV shows. I don't know, is it a spoiler at this point, you know, because it's been out for a little while. So there is the most recent Disney Plus TV show. I don't want to spoil it too much, but he is mentioned in there, I believe. Actually, not by... Oh no, he is mentioned. Yeah, I have seen it. I don't know why I said that. So I think this is very likely, whether we want it or not. And Galactus, I would have liked to see this in a big raid boss game mode, but we know we're not getting that because we're getting Grand Arena. So I don't think this is likely. Whether or not we'd get Galactus outside of that, I don't think we would. And then there's Annihilus, who is related to the Negative Zone. I believe he is the king or leader of the Negative Zone, and he's a very powerful Fantastic Four and cosmic villain, so I could see this happening as well. But I think Kang is probably the most likely, and I'm just going to shade him green, because I think this is probably the most likely to happen within the next year. So whether or not that happens in Dark Dimension or not, or some other way, I think this is going to happen. Maybe Dark Dimension 6. Who knows? But Dormammu is coming, so whether or not that closes the story for Dark Dimension and we enter a new era of something else, hard to say. But anyways, these are the villains that I think are very likely to come to the game. Let me know if I missed any. There's quite a few here. I did do some research a little bit, but these seem to be the most likely. I also wanted to take into account things like TV shows that might be coming down the line and other reasons. You know, for the Sinister Six, for example, we have the movie that's coming in December for that, but I know that most of these Sinister Six members probably aren't going to be in it, but I know that Doc Ock is, so it could be a excuse for them to release more Sinister Six characters anyways, because a lot of the characters that are going to be in this we already have anyways. Okay, that was a big one. So let me know in the comments down below what I missed, what you think is likely to happen, who you'd like to see to come to the game, and anything else. So hope you guys enjoyed this. We need more villains. Give us more villains, Scopely. And until next time, of course, stay safe and healthy. And I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.